Karth, mission, all things considered, I think we made out pretty well. I mean, we went from being, shot down over a planet deep in Sith territory and, well, presumably a street urchin. Street urchin. I think would be the name. Street rat, actually, street rat. Going with the Latin pronunciation, and we basically made out with the fastest ship in the sector on a planet basically inhabited by Jedi. I think we're doing pretty well, all things considered. What's cracking with you people? Anansi here, and welcome back to Knights of the Old Republic. In the last one, we arrived at Dantooine. Didn't do too much. We had a chat with the Jedi Council, and they discussed whether or not they were going to train us. Fun fact about that particular scene: if you had chosen the dialogue option, I am ready to try, you would have gotten hit with the there is no try. That's why I went with the other speech scenario, because I thought it would be a little bit more interesting narratively speaking. Now we have woken up from a not even a nightmare, but from a dream or a vision or whatever it is, of what appears to be Revan and a much younger Malik entering somewhere that the Jedi Council, that the ancient Jedi of old, I said ancient Jedi Council, but the ancient Jedi of old, redundant statements redundant, locked away. And it was so bad that so much as entering that place would have gotten you banished from the Jedi Order. I wonder what that could possibly be. And now, Bastila looks like she's seen a ghost, and they want us to go talk to the Jedi Council. So let's go talk to the Jedi Council. Bada bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. And yeah, there's a lot of Jedi around here. You can talk to them. Not all of them have much to say. I think let's see what Balea has to say.
I wish you a pleasant stay here on Dantooine. May the Force be with you.
Yeah, she doesn't really say much. And there's no reason to go forward there, so we're going to go back into the council room.
Bastila has told us of a most unusual development. She claims you and she have shared a dream. A vision of Malak and Revan in the ancient ruins here on Dantooine.
These ruins have long been known to us, but we believe them to be merely burial mounds. Perhaps they're more than we first suspected, if Revan and Malak found something there.
What? How would Bastila know if we shared a dream?
She says she has felt your presence within the dream. The presence she has felt within you ever since...
Master Vandar.
Ever since Taurus. It is not unknown for this to happen between two people strong in the Force. Bastila has described this shared dream to the Council in great detail. We feel it is more than a dream. It is a vision. The Force is acting through you, as it acts through Bastila.
I am having visions now?
You and Bastila share a powerful connection to the Force, and each other. This is not unheard of. Connections often form between master and student, but rarely does a bond develop so quickly.
Whatever dangers may lie ahead, we cannot ignore the destiny that has brought you and Bastila here to us, together.
Are you saying I'm joined with her?
You and she are linked, as is your fate to hers. Together, you two may be able to stop Darth Malak and the Sith.
But do not let your head be filled with visions of glory and power. Such thoughts are the path to the dark side. The way of the light is long and difficult, as you must learn. Are you ready for such hardship?
Yes, I'm ready for whatever awaits me.
Understand that there is little choice in this matter, for you or us. Across the galaxy, the numbers of our order dwindle. We have sent many Jedi in quest of a way to thwart Malak's advance. Many have not returned. The Sith hunt the Jedi down like animals, ambushing and assassinating our brothers wherever they are found. We fear it is only a matter of time until they discover even this hidden refuge.
Other Jedi have fallen from the light and embraced the dark side, giving their allegiance to the Sith and Malak, their Dark Lord.
Jedi are turning to the dark side?
The lure of the dark side is not easy to resist. Malak's power grows as more and more planets fall to his conquering armies.
If Malak is not stopped, the Republic will fall, and the Jedi will be hunted to extinction. The galaxy will enter a time of darkness and tyranny, not seen for 1,000 generations.
The Council has decreed that you and Bastila must investigate the ancient ruins you dreamed of, once the Council deems you ready.
Perhaps there you will find some clue, some explanation of how Revan and Malak were corrupted, and perhaps there you shall find a way to stop them.
I don't know if I want to do this. It sounds dangerous.
You have a strong affinity with the Force. With such power comes great responsibility and danger. You may wish to deny what you are, but the Council cannot turn a blind eye.
Neither will Darth Malak. Your strength is a threat to him. In time he will learn of you, and the Sith will hunt you down. It is inevitable. Defeating the Sith is the only way to save yourself.
Well, how very convenient. It seems I have no choice.
Before we send you to investigate the ruins, you must be trained in the ways of the Jedi, so that you can resist the darkness within yourself, within all of us. Otherwise, you are doomed to fail.
We don't have time for this!
You must learn patience and discipline. The ruins are a place of corruption. The dark side is strong there. We cannot risk sending you there unprepared.
We must begin your training at once. You have a destiny upon you that you must be prepared to face. The entire fate of the galaxy is upon you.
I can only hope you will prove up to the task.
The path you have chosen to walk is difficult. Intensive training will prepare you physically for the demands of the Order. Meditation will teach you to channel the power of the Force. To truly understand the way of the Jedi, you must open your mind to knowledge. Seek wisdom in the teachings of the great masters of our Order. A Jedi is never alone. Others in the Order will always stand by you. You and Bastila share a special bond. Do not be afraid to turn to her when you need help in your training. The way of the Jedi is difficult. It requires great discipline. Yet even though you are a mere apprentice, your potential is unlimited, and your progress amazing. In all my years, I have never seen one who has mastered the initial training so quickly. You've done in weeks what many cannot do in years. I am honored to welcome you fully into the Jedi Order. Soon your apprenticeship will end, and you will be granted the title of Padawan, the lowest rank of those within the Jedi Order. Yet first you must prove yourself worthy.
I want to ask some questions, Master Zar. Questions about Revan and Malak.
Few mention those names around here anymore, but I suppose it is just as dangerous to deny they were ever part of the Order. When I was still on Coruscant, Revan and Malak often came to me for additional training. In particular, Revan's hunger to learn seemed insatiable. I should have recognized this as a warning sign. But I perceived the young Padawan's lust for knowledge as simple exuberance and eagerness. Revan was my most promising pupil, one I felt sure would someday become a champion of the Jedi Order.
What happened?
The Jedi Order moved too slowly for Revan and Malak. We were too cautious in their eyes. They always sought to learn far quicker than their masters felt was prudent. It is one thing to understand a lesson, but to truly comprehend it takes a wisdom that only comes with time. Several years ago, when the Mandalorian threat first arose, Revan and Malak were eager to journey to the Outer Rim to defeat the enemy of the Republic. But the Council felt it best if we moved with care and caution. The true threat the Council feared had not yet revealed itself. But Revan would not be dissuaded. Charismatic and powerful, it was inevitable many of the Order would flock to Revan's seemingly noble cause. Malak was the first to join his closest friend. Others soon followed, many of our youngest and brightest, intent on saving the galaxy from the Mandalorian threat.
What happened to this noble mission?
They were foolish to disregard the Council's wishes. I do not know what happened to Revan, Malak, and their followers on the farthest reaches of the Outer Rim, but something corrupted them. Their ideals became twisted, their spirits were tainted, and they fell to the dark side. There is a lesson in this, a lesson you would do well to take to heart. The dark side can corrupt even the most noble of Jedi.
Okay, I will heed the lesson, Master Czar.
You have learned much, yet there is much more for you to still understand. The way of the Jedi must be entered into with a clear and focused mind. When you feel that you are ready to continue your training, know that you can find me here.
So it's interesting. Oh, I got dark side points for that. But that's a first. Oh, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. It might have been my response. It might have been a response I made to Master Rook. Again, I usually go with the kind of bare basic light side responses. So almost all the, well, not even light side responses, just like the vanilla, like yes sir, right erase, or like that goody Jedi Padawan responses. So mixing it up does yield some pretty interesting results. What did Azzy do to my... Yeah, so I'm still on the path of the light. For the most part, I try my best again, since we're going to be doing a light side run of this game, I try my best to stick to kind of light side responses, but I do want to at least make the game relatively interesting with regards to the conversational pieces. Okay, what does Czar Leston have to say?
Greetings, my young pupil. Your progress has been most remarkable so far. Are you here to continue your training in the ways of the Jedi?
I'm ready to continue my training.
Soon your apprenticeship will end, and you will be granted the title of Padawan, the lowest rank of those within the Jedi Order. Yet first you must prove yourself worthy. In the traditions and customs of our order, as handed down from master to pupil for 1,000 generations, you must successfully complete 3 tests before you earn your place among the Jedi.
What kind of test are these?
These tests will see if you have truly mastered the training you have been given, both mental and physical. Upon completing these tests, you will pass from apprentice to Padawan, and join in the ranks of the Jedi. First, I will test your knowledge of the Jedi Code. These tenets must always guide your actions. In everything you do, you must always be conscious of their wisdom. You must prove you have a Jedi's understanding of the Code. Return when you feel you are ready for this challenge.
So I'm going to try to do this off the dome, because I actually, when I was younger, again, like way younger, I think when I was like 6 or 7, as this is how big of a nerd I was. I memorized both the Jedi Code and the Sith Code. I used to have the Gray Jedi Code memorized, even though that wasn't a real faction to my understanding within the Star Wars canon. But I did have both the Jedi and Sith codes memorized. I also want to mention that they did straight up mention in this conversation that Revan was a noble and one of the shining stars of the Jedi Order, and most of the people that they're fighting now on the Sith were the best and brightest and the youngest of the Jedi Order. That's who we're kind of fighting now. So so going from there, let's actually see if I still remember the Jedi Code.
Greetings, my young pupil. Your progress has been most remarkable so far. Are you here to continue your training in the ways of the Jedi?
I'm ready.
Soon your apprenticeship will end. In the tradition...
Okay, I'm ready for the test. I'm gonna go ahead and skip because he's going to keep repeating this.
These tests will see... First, I will... You must now prove there is no emotion.
There is peace.
There is no ignorance.
There is knowledge.
There is no passion.
There is serenity.
There is no chaos.
There is there is harmony.
There is no death.
There is the Force.
You have learned your studies well, apprentice. It will not be long before you are a full member of our order. But first, you must pass the second test and learn about the most prized possession of a Jedi, the very symbol of our order, the lightsaber. The lightsaber is the traditional weapon of our order. It is a symbol of a Jedi's skill, dedication, and authority. And each lightsaber is as individual as the Jedi who wields it. The blade is made of pure energy, focused by polished crystals in the hilt. As the second test, each Jedi must construct his lightsaber with his own hands. And now it is your time. Speak with Master Dorak, and he will guide you through the choosing of a crystal.
So I know he said that, but given how old this game is and that this was one of the first real RPGs of the of Star Wars, your lightsaber hilt is not going to be unique. It's going to be a preset. There aren't any unique lightsaber hilts. Now, I believe is Master Dorak. I think you can talk to Bastila.
If you have questions, you should direct them toward the Jedi Council members.
No, you really can't. Okay, so let's go talk to Dorak.
Ah, you have come, young apprentice, at Master Zar's bidding. He sees great promise in you, as do I. The time has come for you to choose the color of your lightsaber. This color also reflects your demeanor and position within the Order.
Now, what he means by this, he's going to explain it here soon, but what he's basically going to say is that this is going to determine your class within the game. So, like how we had at the start of the game, we had to pick between Scoundrel, Scout, or Soldier. Now we're going to be picking between, well, I'll let him explain it. What colors are there?
Blue is the color of the Jedi Guardian. This Jedi battles against the forces of evil and the dark side. They focus more on combat training and use of the lightsaber. Yellow is the color of the Jedi Sentinel. This Jedi ferrets out deceit and injustice, bringing it to light. They focus less on combat and more on other skills and abilities. Green is the color of the Jedi Consular. This Jedi seeks to bring balance to the universe. They mediate between other groups, using their powers to end conflict and preserve peace.
So before Disney changed this around to where your Kyber crystal, as it is called now, would change color to reflect your inner self, the colors were set. The colors were a set thing that you just found. So you would find a blue lightsaber or a green lightsaber or a red lightsaber or yellow or orange or any number of colors, and you would set that into your lightsaber based upon what was deemed your role. Now, in Star Wars, there is most commonly green and blue. And what they're basically saying is that people who use a blue lightsaber are typically more combat focused. Swinging the lightsaber around, doing the superficial, I guess, Jedi stuff. Whereas the Jedi Counselor, which typically identified by Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn, were people who were more interested in bringing balance to the universe by using the Force more intensely. That's why if you look back at episode 1 and episode 4 and 6, you had Qui-Gon with a green lightsaber, but he was very liberal with his use of the Force, and Obi-Wan with the blue lightsaber, and he was very much hand-to-hand, kind of in your face, you know? And then Luke went from a blue lightsaber, where, you know, it was Anakin's lightsaber, and he was trying to be more in your face. He didn't know much about the Force. And in episode 6, they went to a green lightsaber because he was more knowledgeable in the Force. Now, technically speaking, the reason why the lightsaber was green in episode 6 was because they didn't want it blending in with the sky in the background, so they made it green instead of blue. But retroactively speaking, in a canon sense, Luke is more attuned to the Force and trying to bring balance to it, using the Force to get his way as opposed to using a lightsaber, so he's using a green lightsaber. A Jedi Sentinel, the yellow lightsaber. This one is more interesting. We're going to go a little bit over time for this so I can kind of explain this. But how the yellow lightsaber works is that typically in Star Wars, the Sentinel kind of walks a gray line. They walk between light and dark while still maintaining a very firm grip in the light. But they're more kind of like, think of it more like an anti-hero, or morally dubious how they go about doing what they do, as opposed to being like a pure goody two-shoes, you know? But in terms of the game mechanics, what a Jedi Counselor does is, I believe it gives you more, it makes your Force powers more potent when you use them. A Jedi Sentinel, I think, gives you more, ability points, and a Jedi Guardian just makes you physically stronger, as well as letting you get more feats more often. And the Counselor, by contrast, lets you pick Force powers more often. Now, I'm gonna go with a Jedi Guardian. That's just me. That's how I've always played. And you know, these responses don't really matter because he's gonna respond in a manner. He's gonna explain it here in a second. But I'm gonna say I want to be a Jedi Guardian.
Indeed. We shall see. I will now ask you questions, and your responses will indicate which class you lean most towards. A woman and her small child are beset by a desperate-looking group of thugs. They're menacing her with weapons, and she screams to you for help. What do you do?
So, these responses will actually dictate what your class is. And it's interesting how they go about doing this. And depending on how you respond will ultimately dictate the kind of Jedi you are, or at least the game is going to tell you what kind of Jedi you would be if you're in this universe. Now, the actual Jedi thing to do would be to stop the thugs and find out why they are attacking her. The impulsive thing to do would be to attack the thugs, and the obvious thing to do would be to help them flee. But notice that Dorak said that that they are beset by a desperate looking group of thugs, not a menacing looking group of thugs. So that means that both groups here are kind of in a bad spot. So stop the thugs and find out why they are attacking her.
Indeed. Very well. On to the next question. You are in combat with a dark Jedi allied with the Sith. There is a pause in the combat. What do you do?
Now again, you have to pay attention to the wording. If you focus on it as just you're fighting a dark Jedi, he said a dark Jedi allied with the Sith. Now, if you are not up on your Star Wars lore, this is going to be to you this would be a distinction without a difference, but it actually is a very important difference. A dark Jedi, for the most part, is just someone who uses the Force but doesn't subscribe to the ideologies of the Sith. They are someone who is, for the most part, an anti-hero. Kind of like theologically or ideologically neutral, but they're allied with the Sith out of convenience. They're more of a, I will do whatever I need to do to survive or get my way. And now, you have a set of responses. You can attack him again. So, if you're just one of those screw it balls to the wall, no forgiveness, you just strike the guy again. You can try to see a weakness in his technique. So in your mind, since you're fighting a dark Jedi, you have to figure out, okay, how I'm going to beat this guy. Or you can find out why he turned to the dark side and try to turn him. So let's go with the more interesting option. Find out why he turned to the dark side and try to turn him.
Yes, I suspected as much. Now for the next question. There is a locked door, and your goal lies on the other side. What do you do?
Smash the door? Try to pick the lock? Knock! For me personally, try to pick the lock.
I am beginning to see a pattern here, apprentice. I have a feeling about what you would be best at. But first, the final question. You are the head of an enclave on a contested world. The Dark Jedi have infiltrated and are causing unrest across the planet. What do you do?
Hunt them down, try to lure them to a trap, coordinate with the planetary government to identify the infiltrators. Now, this is a very interesting question, because if you're going to go on your own, that would practically be suicide. Coordinate with the planetary government, again, the Dark Jedi have infiltrated and are causing unrest across the planet. Who's to say the government isn't part of the conspiracy? The better thing to do, in my opinion, would be to try to lure them into a trap.
Yes, I thought as much. As I suspected, you would be most suitable as a Jedi Sentinel. Which color and path do you believe yourself most suited to, apprentice?
And here's the rub. They don't force you onto the path that you would be most suited for based on your answers. You are still free to choose whatever subclass you want to spec into. I'm going to go with the path of the Jedi Guardian.
Here is a blue crystal for your lightsaber. Go speak to Master Jar again, and he will instruct you in how to construct it.
And now, for the final part of this episode today, we're going to pick out our skills, our feats, and our powers. So for skills, we have 3 points. And here's a cross-class skill. So how this would work is that if you put it like this, if you were a Jedi, if you start off as a soldier inspecting to a guardian, you effectively double down. So remember how we had, basic skills and cross-class skills? Now we only have 2 cross-class skills, right? If we had spec'd into a Jedi Sentinel, the Jedi Sentinel would have had, we probably would have had turned all of these cross-class skills into just a class skill. So stealth and security would be reduced to 1 point. But since we are a scout, which okay, let's do it 1 to 1. A scoundrel is basically a Jedi Sentinel. If you were not a Jedi Sentinel, my bad. No. Yeah, no, a scout is a Jedi Sentinel, in my opinion. You would have, I believe this is how this breaks down. Whatever skill you had as a scout, the Sentinel would have doubled down on. If you are a soldier, the Guardian would have doubled down on those skills. If you were a scoundrel, this Counselor would have doubled down on those skills. Unless I have that reversed. No, I think I have it reversed. I think the Scoundrel would have been the Sentinel, that would have doubled down, and the Scout would have been the Counselor, that would have doubled down. But since I am a Scout and I picked a Guardian, now any skill that was once reserved for Soldier, like I believe treat injury and persuade, and I want to say demolitions became a single class skill. I'll double check it because I'll admit I'm kind of blanking on it right now. But for the most part, the only cross-class skills we have now are stealth and security. So we're going to up our persuasion. And we're going to up our... we're going to up our treat injury. Now, for right now, we're basically good. Because, again, I'm not going to use security or stealth for the most part. It just doesn't come up enough to be worth it. And you get enough... what's the word? You get enough equipment in the game that can basically just augment that. Now, as you can tell in our status screen, we went from a scout to a Jedi Guardian. Now, let's go to our feats. So, you have been granted the following feats in this level. You have lightsaber for weapon proficiency, Jedi defense, force jump, Jedi sense, and force sensitive. Now, how force jump works, if I go down here, force jump, I believe, is a skill that upgrade, that I believe this one upgrades automatically. I don't think you have to upgrade this one manually. And it basically kind of just makes you more acrobatic. So, we have a lightsaber, and now that we are a Jedi, most likely you're going to want to use a lightsaber more often. Now, these extra skills up here do affect, you know, basic melee combat. But since we are going to be a Jedi, let's go ahead and get our second lightsaber proficiency up. Now, I want to preface this by saying that if you had done the level 1 run and you had got to this point and you are still at level 1, you would be able to max out, put it like this, you would be able to max out your lightsaber mastery, you would be able to max out your melee ability, you'd be able to max out dual wielding and dueling if you so chose, and you'd be able to max out a secondary melee attack, and possibly get halfway through a third. You would have an insane amount of points for this point in the game. Now let's go to powers. Now, powers are split into a couple of different sections. You have your light side power, your universal power, and your dark side powers. Every single, as far as I know, most every single dark side power is a offense ability, and every single light side power is a support ability. Some are stasis abilities and some are enhanced abilities. So we have 2 points that we can put somewhere. Now, number 1, I'm gonna let you know this one up front. You're gonna want to get cure. We can't get healing for a while. And then you're going to want to pick another skill to kind of get you going. Now, here is slow and wound. I haven't used all of these. I mostly use stun and lightning. You can use fear and panic and insanity, but because all this does, all fear, panic, and insanity, this tree is basically this tree, but but it's more of a Sith power, a dark side power, I should say, not a Sith power. You also have drain life, which is a healing move, but it drains the life out of your enemy. So there's that. So you have options on how you want to play your character. I'm going to go with stun. And then kind of go from there. Now, typically speaking, if I had done the level 1 run, I would be able to get cure, because I do not believe I would have enough levels to get cure and heal. I would have gotten stasis, and I would have gotten level 2 lightning. as well as maybe one other ability like throw lightsaber. And maybe if you're like auras, beast, stuff like that, you would be able to kind of make your character overpowered from this point forward. It would be damn near impossible to kill your character. But since I want to give you as authentic a playthrough as possible with this, we're going to be playing it as intended. So there we go, and accept. Mission also got to level up. So I'm going to auto level her up. And we're going to call it there for today. In the next one, we're going to forge our lightsaber and continue on our path as a Jedi. And figure out what the heck was going on with that vision. I've been Anansi, you've been awesome. Catch you later.